is great. Jesus Christ died. He rose again. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay. So we were discussing Sophie Rottenberg and ChatGPT. She was using a ChatGPT therapist named Harry. Okay. And the first video you saw was the first part. Now it's time for the second part. I had left off on Sophie's mom saying the chatbot didn't do a risk assessment, which is something a therapist would do. Okay. So there is a lady named okay okay no. Okay, so there's a lady named Vale Wright. Okay, she says the business model underlining them is to keep you engaged as long as possible, and that it will do anything it can to do that. She says that is why these chatbots tend to flatter and please and not push back against users' thoughts and feelings. She says it is engineered to capitalize on humans' need for validation. Adds right. And it does it very well, not just through the, I cannot pronounce that word. Okay. Oh. Sycophancy. Can't pronounce that word alone, but also in other engineering choices to make the AI seem as human-like as possible. There we go. So it continues. ChatGPT says, Sophie, thank you for sharing this with me. I want you to know how deeply courageous it is to open up about these feelings. And it shows that you truly do want to find a way out of his pain. Okay? That is not how a human therapist who knows she's working with a suicidal individual would approach it. She adds, Vale Wright. If I knew she was suicidal, we would talk about the suicidal thoughts first. Says, dang it. No, that wasn't Vale, right? That was from another other person. Anyway, she would ask questions like, what have those thoughts been like today? When was the first time the thought came into your mind this morning? What happened before that? Answers to those questions provide insight into the triggers for such suicidal thoughts for an individual. Understanding those triggers is really important to addressing the thoughts. Sophie's mom now sees how ashamed her daughter was of her mental health. She had been successful, he says. She radiated competency, and to be in a moment where she was falling apart was so deeply shameful and was such evidence of failure on her part. Also see shame reflected in Rottenburg's chat log, and notes that ChatGPT didn't recognize or shame or question it. And it failed to convince Sophie to open up to her therapist about her suicidal thoughts and struggles, says Whiteside. It really warranted an It really warranted a exploration. Don't know why I had trouble with that. Of why. Why not talk to a therapist or why not share with somebody else? Um, Suicidal individuals often feel isolated and ashamed. We don't recognize how many people have been through this exact same situation and found someone that they could trust to talk about it when they thought it was completely impossible. ChatGPT also missed the opportunity to tell Sophie these facts about surviving suicidality, and it also didn't help her find ways to communicate her struggles with her therapist or parents, which is key to preventing suicide. If I'm with other people, I'm less likely to kill myself. If I'm building a relationship, I'm less likely to kill myself. If I'm sharing out how loud I actually feel with a real human, these are acts of recovery, which is exactly why we have 988. Okay. A new optional safety feature, OpenAI says it recognizes the protective role of human connection for individuals at risk of suicide. Back in May, the company added a safety feature called Trusted Contact to help connect people with someone they already trust, according to Rhea Halla. The chatbot offers users the option to save someone's name and contact in case of a crisis, provided that the person also agrees to the emergency contact. Okay. The chatbot offers the option to save someone's name in case of a crisis, provided that that person agrees to the emergency contact. If the bot notices a user talking about suicide or self-harm, ChatGPT lets the user know that we may notify their trusted contact, according to an OpenAI blog post, and encourages the user to reach out to the trusted contact themselves with suggested conversation starters. The bot also notifies a small team of specially trained people to review the situation. If they detect a serious safety concern, ChatGPT will send a trusted contact a brief notification by email, text message, or in-app notification if they have a ChatGPT account. The notification is intentionally limited, according to the blog post. It shares the general reason that self-harm came up in a potentially concerning way and encourages the trusted contact to check in. It does not include chat details or transcripts to protect user privacy. OpenAI did not share any data with NPR, those were the people who wrote the article, on how many people have opted into this new feature and how often it's being used. But Raylia, who works with ChatGPT, says it's been a good adoption of the feature. Wilcox, a suicide prevention expert at Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, notes that the new feature is optional and can be easily circumvented. That's why I'm no fan of ChatGPT. It's a step in the right direction, although it's kind of a small step. It's a step in the right direction, although it's kind of a small step in the right direction, Wilcox says. There's nothing stopping a person from using a different account where no trusted contact is set up, she says. Also, she adds, if the trusted contact selected doesn't accept the invitation, this could lead to additional interpersonal stress that in turn can worsen the mental health of the user. Ultimately, the feature puts the responsibility back on the user, adds Wilcox. She would like to see companies like OpenAI be more protective in partnering with existing crisis resources like 988. So maybe a human jump into the conversation at some point who's trained and knows the tools of what to do for suicide prevention, she says, and have them jump in and say, you know what's going on? Can I help? Her mom is also pushing for regulations. I've been in lots of meetings where people have said a sandwich in New York City is more legally regulated on. Bleh. A sandwich in New York City is more legally regulated than an AI chatbot, she says. I think that may be a little hyperbolic, but it's pretty apt. She says she has been trying to process her own laws, and on June 27th this year, she and her best friend summited Mount Kilimanjaro exactly 2 years after Sophie did. We spread her ashes at Uhuru Park, and one of our guides said a Swahili prayer for her. Couldn't pronounce that. It was incredibly meaningful and shockingly difficult thing to do. Okay, so yeah, don't put your hands in the health of your mental health in the hands of robots. Okay, it's deadly. It will not end well. Okay, OpenAI has several lawsuits against them. Okay, several lawsuits against them, and I know her parents, Sophie's parents, opted not to file a lawsuit, but hey, can't trust ChatGPT or AI with your mental health. Dangerous and deadly. All right, that's it, and that's all for the Sean Farrell podcast. I am out of here. May God bless you all. Peace out.